Welcome. My name is Joyce Drexler and I'm the Creative Director for Sulky of America. And today I'm going to share with you the magic of Solvys. Those are water-soluble stabilizers and they're just amazing, the different projects that you can do with them. So let's get started. First, I want to introduce you to the different packaging that is available for the Solvys. As you can see, we have a new really long roll here, and that's for those mega hoops that you use in your computerized embroidery. That is available for Solvy for also making clothing like the one that's behind me. When you're making thread and lace clothing, you'll want to have a large roll like this to be able to lay out the pieces. But of course, it also comes on bolts, so you can go either way with that. The packages are fine to get also, and you'll find that there's even a water-soluble 3-yard package of the different types of stabilizers except for the paper Solvy, so you can have a more economical buy that way. And of course, all of these are explained well in our stabilizer book, as well as our new stabilizer book that I'm going to show you that will feature the Solvy and the paper Solvy. So let's just start looking at some of the different ways you can actually use the Solvys. It's just amazing to me. 20 years ago, we discovered the Solvy, the original Solvy, and it was like magic to me. I just couldn't believe what it would do. So let me just show you a few things so that you can see different uses for Solvys. When we're doing any type of computerized embroidery and you have a napped fabric like corduroy, you will want to put a layer of Solvy on top, because this keeps the stitches from the design on top of the fabric rather than down into the fibers. Same thing with excuse me, super Solvy is nice when you're using terry cloth and there's little loops. You want to keep the threads out of those loops, and this helps do that. Some other things that you can do with Solvys is create your own lace designs. And this is a computerized design that was done on the Ultra Solvy, which is the one that's 4 times the strength of the original Solvy. And you can make beautiful ornaments or little appliques that you can put on clothing, or you can make Christmas ornaments out of it. Sometimes we want to embroider on things as light as tulle, but you need a support that's going to wash away. You don't want to have a stabilizer that's going to show through this really light tulle. So we like to use a paper Solvy for this one, because we need that stability and firmness underneath the tulle when we're embroidering. A lot of other things can be done with Solvys, and one of the things that's really amazing to me is doing quilting excuse me, quilting with making borders. This is a really fun design that was actually created from the fabric that's in the quilt. But in order to do this stitching on the border, you'll want to make yourself a really long panel, and all I did was blow up the fabric and draw the sheep out the way that I want them to fit on the border. The next thing I would do is take the KK2000 temporary spray adhesive, shake it up lightly, and hold it about 6 to 10 inches away and lightly spray your pattern. This way, when you go to trace it onto your super Solvy, it will stick in place and it'll be easy for you to trace. And you just smooth it in place and trace a strip using a Sharpie marker. I like to use a Sharpie marker if I know I'm not going to be using a satin stitch. If you're going to use a satin stitch, you'll want to use a lightweight type of color, not a permanent marker like Sharpie. The Sharpie marker works really well, but you wouldn't want it to poke out through your stitches later on. But when you're doing just a straight stitch, like this one, you end up with your design on your Solvy, and then you would just lightly spray with the temporary spray adhesive the top of your quilt, and let's pretend like we always do, and place the design on the strip, and then you would simply stitch it. And when you're done, you could take a wet Q-tip and go along the stitch line and actually be able to pull off the Solvy. And what I like to do is save all the scraps so that I can make liquid Solvy. Liquid Solvy can look like goop sometimes, but what it basically is you've created a yard, usually a yard of the 3 original Solvys. Those would be the original Solvy, the Super Solvy, or the Ultra Solvy. Those are the ones that you want to use to make liquid Solvy. So we actually have 6 different Solvys, not just 5. When I make liquid Solvy, I like to be able to do things on knits, and sometimes you'll find that there's other creative uses, but what we do here, like to do cut work on a sweater like this, you can see how it's discolored here. Well, that's where the Solvy has been painted on just to create a stiffness, and that allows us to be able to do decorative stitches on sweaters. When we're done, we simply rinse it away. So it's a very supportive type of situation. Another use for the liquid Solvy, and this is going to be featured in our brand new stabilizer book that's an addition to the original stabilizer book. Felting has become a very popular way to do things, and this is a knitted bowl that's been felted, and in order to keep the bowl stiff so that it'll stand up nice, you can take the liquid Solvy and actually paint the inside of your bowl, and when it dries it'll make it nice and stiff, and it will stand up really well for you. I think you're going to find if you're a knitter, you're going to really love this concept because you can just make such fantastic little bowls. Another thing that we like to do with our Solvy is to make lace scarves. I like to use the Ultra Solvy or the Fabra Solvy to do this process. This one is all done with the Sulky cotton threads, and I just want you to see how delicate and intricate it can look by doing free motion on top of a strip of Solvy. I like to use the rolls for this because it's just ideal for whatever width you want to make your particular scarf. The one I have on, though, was made the same way, only we added metallic threads to it to give it a lot of glitz. This particular scarf is all made with Sulky cotton, and when I do that, I like to put 12 weight, the heavy weight, in the top of the machine, in the needle, and I like to use a 16-100 needle. You need a larger eyed needle for this heavier thread to go through. And in the bobbin, I put the 30 weight that matches it, so that when your scarf flips back and forth, it looks nice on both sides. And of course you can always add a little glimmer to it if you want to, but it's just a fantastic project to do with Solvy. And those scarves are featured in this book. This is our wonderful Sulky Secrets to Successful Embroidery. And you're going to find that it's just filled with